Welcome back, everybody, to the We're Talking to You conversation. And if you've been following along, you know that means one
Pew,
thing.
pew, pew,
The
pew.
cream mix has officially arrived. And for those who don't know me, I'm Lucretia, and I'm with J. Dominique and Prometheus for what's the beginning of many thought-provoking conversations. Now, before we get into today's topic, I want to give this gentleman a chance to introduce themselves, tell the audience who they are, what they're about, and what perspective they bring to the table. Jay, let's start with you.
Greetings, beautiful people. I am J. Dominique, aka J. Dot, the one that brings food for thought for both the have and the have-nots at your service.
And I am your neighborhood overhead, the one who stole fire from the gods and brought it to you, the people. Call me Prometheus.
Before we jump all into it, lights, camera, action. How was y'all's weekend so far?
I got a birthday next week, so it's kind of just been laying low on that. As I said to Jay, I've been dealing with the ramifications of owning a BMW. It's not for the weak. So he sent me back a couple $1,000s. I don't even want this car anymore.
Oh yeah, I had a BMW and the AC went out and I traded it in.
See,
nah.
I told you, bro. You gotta bust.
Listen,
This is the
I'm
best
tempted
time
to taste.
Yeah. I traded it in. They didn't even know the AC was anything
Hey.
wrong with it. No.
If there's no gauges lit up, bro, man, you gonna have to.
Hey, listen, I'm tempted to pay some people to make this car disappear. Come outside. Oh no, my car! You get this year's Oscar. You can't have shit anymore. I had the script all laid out. How I was gonna open up my front door like these N-words. All they want to do is steal.
Right, can't do that now.
That's
We got you on YouTube.
I went ahead and sold out and paid the money to BMW. So you got me, Bavarian Motorworks. You got me.
Oh my goodness. Say what you up to? What you doing?
Fortunately, I'm gonna say fortunately, this is my last weekend of summer vacay. Man, I'm back on my grind. Start next week. We go back a week before the students go back. So I'll be happy to just get back into the classroom. I got a couple of little ideas about changing some stuff around. So this weekend was about just retrieving a bunch of Amazon packages. I got a lot of stuff to switch out, a lot of my motivational type stuff on my walls and my boards and XYZ. So this weekend was just, putting this much needed and very, very productive summer vacation, to bed and get ready to get back to my magnificent obsession. So I've been thinking school all weekend. It's on my mind.
That's crazy because you was summer vacay Jay for a minute.
You know what? The craziest thing, I promise you, there hasn't been a summer since the COVID summer when everyone just had to shut down that I haven't worked during the summer, mostly in summer school capacity. So, just continue to sharpen the skills. But the way that everything aligned, I told myself the way that it all played out, I was deserving of this time off. And I actually made the most of it. There was some areas in your boy's life that I had to kind of get in order and realignment. So this worked out perfectly. But this isn't going to be my new norm because I've been kind of like stir crazy the last 2-3 weeks.
I was going to ask you if you're going to continue to do that, continue to take the summers off, but that's it. This is it.
People say, what do you do for a living? I say, I live for a living. This is what I do. So.
It's so deep.
I told you I'm a whole vibe. A whole vibe.
Well, on that note,
what about you, Lou? Let's go ahead and tell everybody about your fantastic voyage this weekend.
Listen, I learned a lot about myself this weekend, specifically last night. I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I might be too young to be at the club on Friday night and too old to be there on Saturday.
That weird space.
I am in this weirdest space of I'm going out Friday night and everybody in there looking a little 10 years older than me, like I shouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying? And then I go out Saturday night and I'm 10 years older than the people that are in there. However, I look like, and I don't want this to come off vain or whatever, but I think I look like I'm the same age as the people that are in there, but I'm just not the same age. I'm in the weird space. I don't know where if maybe that just means I don't need to be out because I really feel like I need to take a break. Like I'm going to take a break and not go out anywhere for like the next 6 months, but I don't know where people are at my age. I think are they at home? Because is there like a space, like this 10-year space where everyone stays home and then they emerge again, like in their 60s? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out. You shaking your head off.
You hang up the club favorite days, you don't go back outside. You find other hobbies. You garden.
I don't really go to the club though. Like I don't go out very often. So it was just
shit like that.
I mean, I do out different now. So I'm not going out if I don't have a table because I am not going to be standing in the crowd all night. So if I don't got a table, I'm
That's
not
already
going.
indicative that you passed your prime at the club, Lou.
Yeah,
if you can't stand there and torture them ankles and the balls of your feet and them calves and them high heels for no reason, if you can't still do that all night, you gotta let it go.
You need to just not even be there. That you know what, you're probably right. But when I was there, the women were not wearing heels. I saw a lot of tennis shoes.
I don't know. Time to follow.
So I need to. Yeah, I think it's time for me. I was just like,
learning.
I was like, I'm too old to be here yesterday, but I was too young to be here yesterday, but I'm too old to be here today. So I'm probably just going to just chill. So, but I did have a good time. I probably drank more than I should have. My body is not, you just don't recover in your 40s the same way. I'm telling you, I thought, I didn't know if I was going to make it today. I didn't know. But my professionalism, the big girl in me said, you got to get up and you got to do what you got to do because you had a commitment.
We love that for you. We love that for you.
So yeah, so that was I went out last night. I had a good time. But we will be chilling for a minute. I'm not even going to the gym tomorrow because I'm like, I feel like I got 2 workouts in.
48 hours. Okay.
Hey, wow.
No, it'd be like my daughter was like, why do you even go out? The last time you went out, you couldn't move for 5 days. I was like, I don't need this negativity in my life. Get out of my face.
Yeah, it's time to go ahead and get the trophy. Hey, go ahead and get the
put your jersey. Put your jersey up in the rafters.
It's a wrap.
What's that called?
It's a wrap.
She need to go ahead and get that.
It's a wrap. And then for you dudes that's out there that's still in the club I'm not saying you gotta.
I'm saying it. Yes, it's time to go get a hobby. Learn.
I'm not saying you shouldn't have a good time at a certain age. I'm not saying that you gotta just be home and be bored. I'm just saying that y'all looking like y'all are the exact ages that y'all are, and that is just time. I don't know. I don't even want to be body shaming or ageism or anything like that. Let me get up off here and say all that. I'm just saying that.
I'll do it.
Cool.
Or you go out there and be like, yeah, I'm cool on all of this for Emma. I won't be back out. It'll just be my man and I Netflixing and chilling.
On the History Channel, find yourself a documentary. Let Kim Burns talk to you. It's time to learn about the Underground Railroad.
Listen, it's vacation. Vacations I think are the new thing. The going out, going on a vacation, going on a staycation, going experiences. It's the new going out for me.
Well, on that note, today's topic is something that I think is a little lighthearted, give everybody an opportunity to kind of share their own personal overview, if you will, of it. So we're going to talk about the cookout, the time-honored engagement to Black people known as the cookout. What is it? And why do Black people seem to take that shit so damn seriously? So starting off today, I'm going to ask my co-host, Jay, what does the cookout mean to you when you hear the term the cookout?
You know what? I'm going to start this out with a little bit of a rant, and I just got to say it. I've been highly annoyed with the fact that I understand it's a small world, man. People getting from place to place, city to city, state to state, country to country, and all that good stuff. But I was born and raised a West Coast bad boy, right? And yeah, I'm well trained and I learned how to become a lot more sophisticated. But I want to know at what point the barbecue turned into the cookout. Because when I was coming up, we didn't have the term cookout. It wasn't like, hey, that's about to have a little cookout. You want to show up? We'd be like, we've been to barbecue. We've been to West Coast. We've been to barbecue. It's how, was what we was on. And then somewhere I got into the military, and I think I got around about, some other brothers that was from different places. And I think the South is where that whole notion of the cookout became a thing. And before I knew it, I was always just one of a handful of West Coast representatives. So we were kind of drowned out by the status quo. And so I would just hear people be like, oh yeah, since that's been to have a cookout. And I learned my manners. I would stop, questioning it and saying it's a barbecue and going through that whole thing. But I still, in my heart of hearts, when I hear cookout, it just doesn't resonate with me. Like on the West Coast, be barbecue. But for the sake of the show moving forward, I think that that this is an extension of, and I hate that I always have to wear my historian hat, man, but it's an extension of
But you
the
should.
original space in which Black folk were able to come together and to socialize. Back when we were in bondage,
Yeah.
the church was the place where after 6 days and 6.5 days of toiling out and doing inhumane work for inhumane people, that little sliver of time we had right there after church is when you were able to cook up a dish and then, do a potluck style. You come in, usually in an open space or at a church they had it open, and Black folk would just come and congregate and it would lament and share story and express. And for a lot of Black folk, that were confined to just their plantation or their little neck of the woods, it became a great thing to just be able to see relatives, distant relatives, people you grew up with that you hadn't seen in a while. So the cookout originated out of necessity for Black folk being able to just be amongst ourselves and to talk how we talk and to act how we act and to see the world how we see the world. And then, give ourselves and each other encouragement and ways to tuck all that stuff back in. And then you get back into this real world that, for the most part, most of US history, our culture was a subculture and maybe a subculture within a subculture. So this is our opportunity to have to be able to just let our hair down and just get out of having to carry ourselves in a way that kept us safe, what I'm saying, in the other parts of the world. So it was communal. It's about sharing recipes. It's about, being able to see folks you haven't seen in a while. But more than anything else, this was just our time to not have to make a conscious decision to be like someone else in order to fit in or in order to feel less threatening.
Okay. So
Yeah.
thank you for the clarification. So Lou, I put the same question to you, but with the caveat, what does the cookout, barbecue, or kickback mean to you?
Okay, so first things first, I hear what Jay is saying in his rant of the we in the West Coast because we're from the same place, so we would say who's
That's how
barbecuing
y'all
today,
do it,
who's
right?
going to the barbecue, and who's doing that. I think we knew. I think that we knew in Seattle when we said who's barbecuing today, who was going to be there, right? You just knew that. But if you just say who's barbecuing or who is anyone going to barbecue, in the grand scheme of the whole United States, anyone can be at the barbecue, but everybody's not going to be at the cookout. Anyone can have a barbecue, but everybody cannot have a cookout. And I think that's the difference in it. So I can say, yes, I'm going to a barbecue, but I could be going to anyone's barbecue. But if I say I'm going to the cookout, everyone knows exactly who's going to be there, who's going to be there, who's primarily going to be there, who's primarily not going to be there. When you say barbecue, you're not going to get that same immediate understanding. So that's what I will say to that. But when I hear cookout, barbecue, kickback, or whatever people want to, call it, because I obviously didn't start calling it the cookout until I think later on when I think I saw because it's not something you say in Seattle because our weather is not that great. So it's not like we're having cookouts all the time in Seattle. It's always raining anyway. But I just, when I hear it, it just makes me think, and I know I'm probably in too deep in it, but it just makes me think like, man, Black people really know we just can turn any lemon into lemonade. Like we can, not only can we, turn like anything that we have are limited, we will turn into limitless joy. Give us the worst cuts of the meat and we will turn it into the best tasting meats that you've ever had. Give us the worst vegetables and we'll come up with collard green. You know what I mean? Like give us the worst of the worst and we will make the best of the best out of it. And, we're not only going to make lemonades, we're going to season that thing. We're going to invite everybody and we're going to turn it into a celebration. Like that just speaks to just the culture. And
What I love about the cookout, whatever you want to call it, because I don't remember when it became a cookout either, but we all had our own variation of what the cookout was growing up, right? Is that universally speaking, we all understood what it meant if somebody said we're going to the cookout. Like I grew up in a different environment than you all grew up in. We all had different experiences, but there's this unwritten rule that I don't know if it's codified somewhere in a book that gets passed down like your big mama's recipes, but we all know, like you said, if such is having a cookout, we all know to 80% accuracy, what conduct is to be expected when we get there. And there's probably going to be a question as Black people, we're going to ask, is there a color theme? Because, we love to know if we got to show up wearing a certain color. And we already understand what types of foods are going to be there. And I think that.
And most people are going to bring the foods, not at a barbecue you typically show up and you just eat.
I think that's the beauty of it. So as we get into some of these unwritten rules, I'm going to put this to you. Are there rules for bringing guests to the cookout? And guest doesn't have to be racial. It could just be your boyfriend, your coworker from work, your colleague, your neighbor. Can you just show up to a regular cookout with a +1?
Yeah. The more the merrier. Everybody's invited. Everybody's kind of invited. If you're going to the family reunion, you don't bring a +1 because sometimes you cook out and you do a family reunion, right? And you don't bring a +1 typically. But if you're like, they have to know what they're going to go through if there's a +1 and ain't nobody seen them before. Then they got to know, just know you coming to the cookout. I don't know you. I don't know, so, but typically, I say that my family was always like the more the merrier, but you probably did cue them in. You didn't just show up randomly with somebody. Okay, so then no, not really, not without you don't just randomly just without cueing somebody in that is going to happen, or at least your guests.
This is hold on. Pause the tape. This is a time where we can actually put truth to power here. You just hit on a key point, a key unwritten rule. This guy here has me still hating a guy that I only met 2 or 3 times based on him breaking that cardinal rule.
Oh,
for all I know, this could be a good dude.
Oh my God.
For all I know, me and this dude could have hit it off, and me and him could have just took it to levels beyond comprehension. But the way in which I was introduced to this brother, man, it had forever will make it so that I wouldn't stand next to this dude to this day, right? So I'm having a barbecue. You call it a kickback. You call it whatever it was. I was the first one when we had got back in our unit. This is our yesteryear. We in the military. I was the first one that was smart, man. I ran my shit and got out of the barracks before everyone else could. There was only a limited amount of slots. I had made rank. So I was out. I was one of the first ones that had the apartment off base, right? So my spot was the new barracks. It was like barracks 2.0. I decided to throw something together, man, just to kind of celebrate, the fact that we was back and we hadn't seen each other for a while. This guy was invited. It might have been, it might have been my birthday. It might have just aligned. Invited this guy. He brings another guy that had just got to the unit. Now, I had put eyes on this guy. I seen him, in the battalion we was in. It's 800-900 people there on the grinder. I seen him. No, not that many Black people in the battalion we was in. So you stick out. So, the universal rule, you see him, heads up, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? But this guy right here brings him to my cookout. And that's not a problem per se, because I didn't put out, hey, you had to bring, something. I had more than enough, and we had more than enough to go. But the way my man walked in, like he walked in first, Pro walked in first, Dap pointed behind him, this my guy, blah, blah, blah. He knew the battalion, he cool. And I looked at him, head nod. They both proceeded to walk in, and both these dudes moved into the food area and got plates immediately. Didn't even greet everybody in the space. Didn't even know if we was partaking yet. Now, mind you, me and Pro, we go back. So Pro got a pass, right? He done came and put some groceries in the place. So that wasn't my issue. My issue is he brought a dude I didn't know. I didn't even really get a good introduction to the guy. Didn't get into a while. Didn't even know how long he'd been in the military, where he was from. Those are some key ingredients you want to know when you meet the guy.
Because he was in your house, in your apartment at this point, not just outside in the park.
And he had immediately zeroed in and had a plate. By the time I seen him again, he had a plate. And I was like, oh no. So I had to go to him. I was like, hey, I was like, because we was wild. Now, the difference between he and I is that I'm more calculated. I try to let things go, but what they do is they build. And if they build too much, then I'm out of there. It took everything in me not to wring this dude's neck, because he's standing next to this guy and still ain't got the common decency and courtesy to at least oblige me in a conversation. It's a nice spot you got. Hey, man, how much this cost? Just shoot the shit with me. Let me know that you coming in and you're interested in why we all got together. But this dude had a plate, and he was the intermediary right between me and the other guy. And he didn't see it upon himself to say, well, this guy's representing me. I brought him with me. He just sitting here eating on whatever it was just cooked, just smiling. It wasn't until I put him to the side and was like, hey, I don't like money like that, bro. I don't know how you gonna let this dude come up in my spot and not, you know what I'm saying, not assess the situation, not fall back, not let everything play out and then jump into it. This dude walked through my door thinking that is his door. So at this point, he was like, oh, you know what? I didn't even think about it that way, man. I apologize. Do we need to get together? We need to go. Okay, you know what? Well, I just tell him to go. I'm like, no, I don't want to be that host. But after that dude left, like the whole time I kind of stayed away from him because I just was agitated. But after he left, I made my mind up. I was like, I'm not fucking with this dude, man. And I didn't say a word to this dude ever. I'm talking about ever.
And he doesn't even know. He's like, what I do? All I was doing was being the guest.
I mean, we did have a little bit of friction a little bit later, just because, you know, it's competition. You know, he talking to somebody that I knew before XYZ, whatever. But I was carrying this burden. It wasn't even on that, man. It could have been something that we could, but it's because of the way he presented it. He broke the cardinal rule. Like he brought the +1 and didn't school him and let him know, or he didn't catch it enough time. But hey, let me circle him back around and let's get a little bit more of a formal introduction, just so that we cool. He was too busy feeding his face.
Well, someone's supposed to tell you, hey, you know what? All right, then there's food over there if you want. Grab your plate, do whatever. You know, my house is your house. Like, you have to say that.
See, Pro did that because he knows he's welcome, but the other dude tag along was like,
and the other dude was just following him.
Oh, sweet, that's how we roll.
Let me say this.
Right, he didn't know.
The military is really good at. It's also bad at. There's an assumption, like I just said. I think it's beautiful that all of us can say the cookout and we kind of know what that means. But there's something, we're going to talk about this. There's code of ethics and mores and rules for the cookout that don't always translate depending on where you grew up, right? And that's what we're going to get into in this next part. Jay, what are two games that almost always get played by the elders or the men at the cookout?
Oh, that's easy. Like you can put that up on like Family Feud. You know what I'm saying? And be like, survey say, like,
what would be the top two?
Like I would say Spades is the top. Spades or Tonk or Gin Rummy, like something cards, but mostly Spades. And then second in the Black Cookouts, dominoes.
Right. And that's what
I put it in a different order. I'm like dominoes and then Spades.
So Lou, not to be
in my family,
or massages, do you personally play Spade or domino? Oh shit, talk that shit.
Both.
So what I want to know is, what are some of the unwritten rules of Spades that'll get you fucked up that if you don't know going into someone else's Spades game?
Did we talk about this before, or am I having like deja vu?
Deja vu.
Okay. For
what
Spades.
Will get you fucked up that people assume you know, don't translate another Spades table.
I don't know. I gotta think about that because I've played in so many different ones, and they're like, sometimes the rules are tiny bit different. But I know that a couple of things you got to know. Like, are we sandbags or are we not? You're gonna have to know that. Like, you need to know that. You need to know, like, if you are new, some tables you don't need to sit in. Like, if you're not good at it and you can't read your partner, you need to not sit down at that table. And then if you don't have thick skin, you cannot play. You're can't. You're gonna be crying. You're gonna end up crying. My sister never plays. She's like, I don't like playing with you guys because she's so sensitive. She ends up getting her feelings hurt every single time. I don't know about any, like, if you're talking about like rules of the game. I just know that those unwritten things. Like, if you're new here, don't sit down at this table. If you don't have thick skin, don't sit down at this table. And you need to know about the sandbagging because you will have a problem with your partner.
Now that you said something about rules, I wonder if there's a national like Spades rule, like the Spades Congress. That's what I mean. Like
we've been making it up as you go. You need to know.
There's 3 games that the rules are called house rules: dominoes, for sure. Spades and Monopoly. All 3 of those you have to verify. You got to ask questions first. I might even throw Uno in there with this generation, but you got to ask questions.
So there's no governing.
First.
There's no.
Which way are you guys?
That's what I was.
You got to be like ace high, too high, or too low. Like, you have to. Is it ace 2, 3? You know, or is it
I'm gonna tell y'all a
king
true
ace.
story.
You
I
have
almost
to
got into it
you
one
got to
time
find
where we
out.
almost had to flip the table. So I grew up playing, because again, I learned, Jay told us, there's no governing body of spades. So there's no codified rules that you can pull out to settle disagreement. So chances are you're going to settle disagreement with these or a combination of these and these. I grew up in a house where we played joker, deuce, ace, right? So, and how do you determine Jay the joker? But how do you,
Big joker,
we have
little
to show
joker,
that,
big joker, little
It was
joker.
big joker has guaranteed.
or however the cards are, because some people got, you have to, before the game starts,
Some of them they have
but
the
you have
little.
to,
The
when
joker's
the
actually
game starts,
smaller.
you got to put the joker on the table so everyone can see this is big joker, little joker. And some people
Which
put a
is the
money
big joker
sign
and this
on
is
it,
little
but
joker.
you
Okay.
have, what I'm getting at is before we start
You gotta
filling
know.
in, somebody's going to say, hey, let me see the jokers. So they know. So we play joker, deuce.
That's so funny.
There's some other rule where motherfuckers play like the two of clubs is just as powerful as the deuce of spades. You ever heard that?
I have heard
Hey,
that one time, I think
hey,
once, but I've never
let somebody
played
cut
in a
something
group with that person.
let's say you bid it on 10 books or whatever you bid. Right.
Because to me,
Let's say
club is the
you did
weakest.
7 book and somebody cut your 7 book with a 2 of club and try to tell you that one. Table got to get flipped, right?
Oh, get out of
It
here
took-
right now.
It took everybody to tell me like, nah.
Yeah, get
And I was
outta
like, nah,
here.
you're making shit up now. Then other people had to come from the out of the other room like,
Yeah,
no, we play.
you do got to establish those rules first, though.
Hey.
You can't go into it assuming everybody
And
has the
there's
same
another
rules.
rule. I think there might be one universal rule in spades that I definitely get people click clacking is talking across the board.
Well, how do you describe
Talking
table
across the
talking?
board.
What is
Oh yeah, people will be pissed.
I'm
Yeah.
keen. So if someone says they play with that person all the way, we're at a disadvantage because they should, if they're smart, it came up with some signals so they don't have to speak. Like,
Right,
like if I want you to cut me, I'm gonna tap my shoulder. Like I can respect that level of creativity. If we're sitting there playing with a pair that got all kind of stuff like this, and they know to go ahead and throw off, I'll take that loss. But when somebody be like, no, if you're gonna play that. Anytime most people walking by would be like, "Hey, what y'all talking across the board?" Like that is a crime in the world of spades playing, because ain't nothing worse than already losing and having somebody, you have that little opportunity to get back, that little window opportunity to get back in there, and somebody just go ahead and settle coffin by touch. No, I just played my last clip, so why you play clips like that? That right there make me want to just walk from the table like, bro, I can't do it. So can't do it.
Right.
So talking across the table of some sort, I think is the one thing that's frowned upon.
That's how I learned. My brothers taught me, but they taught me in a way like it was they knew the games were lesson games because they would, because they was harsh on each other. But when I sat down, they were a little nicer and they like, why you don't play this if you know you don't have this? Like you don't, you know what I mean? Like don't go strong if you know you got something better. It would just be sometimes you gotta throw a hand. Sometimes you gotta throw it away because that's just not you don't want to play. You ain't trying to play your joker if you got, you know what I'm saying? If it's hearts out there and you ain't got no hearts, just play a club. You know what I'm saying? And get the book taken. But then everybody know, now you ain't got no hearts. She ain't got no hearts. You know, and you say that and it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
You can't say that out loud.
I personally like sandbags.
I like because it makes you play.
I don't like it. I hate to gamble. I hate gambling just in general. So that's probably why I don't like to play it. But I have played
play
it.
Your fucking hand. Do you guys believe first hand bids itself?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think I've ever sat in the house where they was like, no, let's just go ahead and bid. I think that's just an equal way for us to just go ahead and shake out the cards and kind of.
What constitutes a misdeal for y'all with spades? Yeah.
Wait, are we talking about
all this? But all
cookouts?
this
Are we talking about okay? Because he got a hard cut. He got 15 minutes before we need to move on to the cookout.
Damn. See, we was going.
Part 2.
Why are you laughing?
Part 2.
Maybe it's time for part 2. But hey,
let's get as far as we can, and then we'll go to
hey,
part
listen.
2.
So I need to know when you guys are playing. This is all cookout etiquette because again, we all understand what the cookout is till you go to the cookout and almost again, it's spades only end.
You still got to talk about food. Right. You got to talk about people. You got there's a lot of stuff you got to talk about with the cookout.
So we're moving and we'll get to the food. So the next one is dominoes. What's the unwritten rules like? So I give you one. I learned playing with these dudes down here, like, and I like this. Ever watch my dad play? Like, if you knock, you got to stand up and you can't face the table. That way, it's more when other people walk by the room and be like, "Why is that asshole standing up with his back to the table? Because he sucks. That's why." But some people, they don't like that. They feel like they should still sit at the table when they knock. What do you think, as a domino?
Never
So
heard
it's
of
in
that.
line with what Lou said earlier, though. What you had recognized a little bit earlier in your commentary, Lou, was that you got to have thick skin if you're going to sit down, especially at a black folks doing anything, because ribbon, jonesing, whatever you want to call it, is always going to be a part of product. So in dominoes, no matter, people were creative, but the whole goal is to
Embarrass
somehow
somebody.
alienate the person that cannot play, so that the average person passing by
Yeah.
can see it. And it's like the old school dunce cap in the corner, I've said, sir,
I've never heard of that in my entire life. Never seen someone standing and looking away from the table. I ain't never seen that ever.
Yeah.
I ain't never seen that in my life. Y'all that's crazy. I don't even believe that's a thing. That's some shit y'all made up in the Navy.
I mean, it might have been military. No, but I done been in places.
That's some military shit. Eh? People is not regularly just standing like, hell no. No, what are you talking about?
I done been at numerous.
Where do you
I done been at numerous houses where somebody that kept forgetting and trying to sit down had that particular wicker or plastic chair thrown away from the table by the household.
No.
But this is why y'all are in the military, though.
Yeah.
Seen that or heard
My
of
dad
that in
put
my
me
life.
on to
I'm
that.
about to
Watching
ask
my
my mom
dad
to she like to play.
They were vicious. No, they was
So
doing that
you
when I
brought that to
showed
the
up.
military. I blame you.
I agree with
Just
that.
kidding.
Or like you
I
got to
never
pay
heard of
money to get your name on the board.
Just so you don't be, just so you don't. Well, I get that piece, but
not pay money,
not
real
pay
money,
money.
like 15
but
points
I
to get
never
on the
seen
board.
that someone. Yeah, you have to get on the board. Yeah, I know. I played like you have to hit a certain amount of points to get on the board. I get that, but I never had someone just have to stand up and look away from the table because
And
they
let me
just
tell you
didn't
about-
have a domino. And then
Yeah,
they get to sit back down when the next round
again.
comes around. But do you guys when they can play again? So is it the cold part that everybody keep playing the fives? No, they ain't got no more.
Oh yeah, it's
Keep
clearly
making
it's
together.
clearly a ritual of humiliation, and everyone's in on it. Yeah, and it's
Okay,
cutthroat.
so
And
everyone's
it's
in on
cutthroat.
it.
Like the three of us are playing, and we're ganging up on you. The moment pro got to stand up, like, oh man, he gets the same treatment, if not worse. So it's all self-correcting, but it is.
Y'all just like, stand your bitch ass up.
That's all in line. That is all in line. Like,
I'll be pissed.
because it's more about somebody walking by, like, why is this idiot stand up? Because somebody else, but he fucking sucks. That's why. Right?
Oh my god. Oh my god. You suck because you don't have the domino. I better.
No, and I'm gonna say what I learned with these dudes, right? So let's say you win out domino, boom, whatever, you cash out and you get everybody's hand point. These dudes will be looking at the domino counting. So let's say you say 44 for 45, right? Cool. But let's say you start going 43 for, you mess up however many numbers are down there, they'll take your money.
Yeah, it's universal mathematics.
But, well, if you don't call it, if you don't call it,
I'm talking about.
But
they're before you so
I,
quick.
I
You're like, domino, I'm out, give me 15. And then you see what everybody's hands. So you sitting there like 5, 10, 15. They be like, it's 60 for 65. Get him out. He don't want his money. Like, damn, let me count.
I mean, that's an extreme, but
it's a lot of pressure.
No, I think the thing is that the onus is on you as the person dominoing to get the count as quick as possible. Everybody's already annoyed that they didn't domino.
You gotta
So the only saving grace is to kind of put some pressure or to distract the person to where they don't round up, because then the universal math is you got to round up. You know what I'm saying? So call bad money, then the only benefits you had is you just get to start out with domino again. So yeah, it's cutthroat. Dominoes is notoriously cutthroat.
That's why. So what about knowing line dances? What happens if somebody don't know how to line it? Whatever, be it electric slide, cha-cha slide, the wobble, what's the new one with the fans? What
you just don't get you just don't get up there if you don't know how to do it. That's all it is. Get up for the ones you know how to do, sit down for the ones you don't know how to do.
Dances start. Or does everybody still got to get up and participate?
Not in my world. I feel like you know how to do it, you do it. If you don't know how to do it, you don't do it.
No, I think the exact same with the extension of, if you don't know how to do it, don't get your ass up and try it.
Just don't get up there and do it. Don't mess it up for everybody else.
Yeah. Only one that might get the pass is, you know what I'm saying, is auntie. You know, auntie that never really came around that much. You know what I'm saying? She had got her money early.
Yeah. If they're older than you, they get to go out there and try to have a good time, and we can't say shit to them because let them do it.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's probably.
But if you really just like want to be in mix, but you don't know how to do it, just sit down because you're ruining it and don't look good. You're messing up the aesthetic and people's flow.
How do you let them know going into this? Like, hey man, if you can't do shit, sit your ass down, or do you let them go up there and be part of the group?
I don't think I've ever had that discussion, but I think in that point, it's like, if I know something's about to happen, if I'm smart enough, I can catch it before I'm about to just probably have them sitting down talking to somebody that ain't gonna be able to get up anyway. Like, hey, go talk to my uncle, such and such. He gonna have you talking to you. I'll be back. You come get him when the line dance is over.
So another one that is very sacred to Black people, especially greet people. Jay, when you come to the cookout, who do you greet and why?
Well, the easy answer is you greet everybody, but I think it should go in a order, in a chronological order. Like, if whoever answers the door, obviously you greet them. If that's not the person that is actually that's their house or they're throwing it, then your job is to seek out that person on your way in and speak to everybody until you get to that person. And then after that, they'll probably, as a good host, turn and point to and tell you some of the people they know you don't know. But there's nothing worse, like I said, going back to my flashback, there's nothing worse than somebody walking up into your space and not saying nothing at all. Like, that's just a universal sign of disrespect. Like, you know what I mean?
Hey, it's rude. He should have known. He should have known better a little bit.
People's cookouts that weren't Black themed or Hispanic themed. Like, for us, even if I don't know who's spotted, I usually greet, but I also make it a point that if somebody got a white beard, gray hair, balding, some old people in the corner, I'm speaking to them within my first 5 minutes. I'm making it, oh, hello, Theo, Tia, auntie, uncle, whoever, right? I've gone to places that were not Black themed, and folks don't really speak, which I thought was culturally a rise with me when I walked in. I was like, oh, okay, that's how we do here.
I mean, hospitality is just lost sometimes. You just know.
So we understand. So there's really no unwritten rule, but right before we get to the foods, I know you want to talk to the food. So I'll put this on you. Making plates for your man. Is that okay? Not okay?
Yeah. It's a necessity.
So are you doing it?
It's necessary.
For him, or are you doing it to show everyone else?
I make my man's plate because that's what I've always done. Even at home, if no one was there.
Discussion that goes as.
I mean, I host Thanksgiving at my house every single year. I still make his plate.
Antithesis to that. Okay, I'm just saying.
So,
hey.
You asked. I make my man's plate. Now, was he like the kind of person that requires I make his plate? Is he like just sitting down waiting for it? No, I think I almost have, with the lack of a better word, trained him in that way. What is it? You want everything? You want a little bit of everything? You know what I mean? Or like, I can make my own plate. I know you can. Do you want everything? Or is there something you don't want? A little bit of everything? Like, so I think it's more uncomfortable for him than it is. But I think I just grew up in a space of, especially number one, I'm making his plate. Number two, especially if he's my guest that I brought with him, and I brought with me, then I'm just gonna go make it and bring it to him just because I think that's just the best way to be a good host. If you're not hosting the party, but you're still kind of the host.
I got a question for you before we roll out here and sum it up. Is it a requirement for you to have your plate made as a man? Like, do you make your own plate, or?
I mean, I was going to attempt to tap dance around a little bit, but at the core of it, yeah, I would find fault and issue in that. Not that I need to have my plate made, but as a gesture of decorum. Like, there's certain things that I'm going to do. Open the doors,
right, you see the trash cans full, you just take out the trash. Like, there's a certain thing.
Be the lead. And I'm thinking more specifically towards how do you represent for your couple. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that society tends to deem a guy, be at the forefront, or else we'll be looking at that individual a little side-eyed. Like, it stands out when a guy is not conducting himself like what we're accustomed to a man doing. I think that a man could go make his plate and make his lady a plate as well, and someone in there would appreciate that and be like, look, fellas, that's what y'all need to be doing.
Yeah.
But at the core of it all, yeah, if we in the space and we together, you know what I'm saying, look out for me in that way. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If the absence of that would cause me to ask a bunch of internal questions like, does this person really understand that there's there's some things that we're gonna have to do as some gender roles, one, but two, does this person not care enough about me being my mate? If theoretically I'm to help be a provider, to put something on the table, then then you take some of what I theoretically gonna put on the table onto the plate and bring it to me. That to me, that's no different than a person that cooks should not be touching the dishes after it's all done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. You know what I mean? So that just to me stands out as not really being 100% on board with representing your mate in public.
I mean, yeah. I think sometimes you're just certain things. I'm a very independent woman. I really believe women can be just as equal doing certain things and have the same aptitude. But there's just certain things that I feel are still I'm still traditional
Well,
about. And that's one
a
of them.
very interesting perspective. And in an effort of time, we're going to have to turn this into a part 2. So closing this out, what we wanted to do on this episode was be a little bit more lighthearted, show how some commonalities exist among Black people, although we may have grown up and socialized in different situations and circumstances. But the cookout is something that universally, when we say the cookout, all Black people kind of know what we're talking about. And stay tuned for part 2 of this, where we go into like what would be considered the proper diet and fare. What happens if somebody brings cheap sodas, and what can get you ostracized from the cookout? Again, been with us thus far. We love you for it and we like it. Stay with us. Stay tuned. Be safe. Be blessed. Be beautiful.
And we out.